All right, what is up? This is SLOplays, and guys, we have massive breaking news for Dragon Ball. Okay, just the Dragon Ball franchise in general. This might be one of the most important news articles and just interviews and things that got, revealed here today. All right, this was literally like an hour ago. I just saw it on DBS Hype's page. Now, this comes from an interview from, I think, Super Chronicles, and it's official now. It is official. Akio Yoku, which, to give you guys some context, is, he was the head of the Dragon Ball room, the dude that was pushing for Dragon Ball content. Okay, this has been the guy that has been leading, a lot of the new Dragon Ball stuff that we've been getting. Okay, I'm talking about all the modern stuff. I'm talking Dragon Ball Superhero, the Broly movie, obviously Daima, okay, coming this year and everything. This is the guy, okay, the big bad here. Not really. No, this is the big good, because this guy's awesome. Okay, for the most part, he has been really pushing and trying to get more content, okay, Dragon Ball content out there for the fans to enjoy, okay? He's the reason why we had, Broly returning in his own movie and everything. He's the reason why Gohan became a main character instead of just Piccolo in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie, okay? He's doing a lot of, at least in the more recent years, he does a lot of fan service type of stuff, okay? And I understand that can be good and it can be bad, but for the most part, it has shown to be very successful. What he has done has shown success, okay? The Broly movie being one of the most, actually, I would have to say the biggest Dragon Ball movie alongside Superhero, okay? Because of him, we've gotten a lot of cool shit, right? So it's official now. He has established this Capsule Corporation Tokyo company, thing. Okay, we went over this several months ago that he was there was a power struggle between him and Shueisha. Okay, he wanted control to be able to distribute more anime content, more stuff. Okay, video games, merchandise, all that good stuff, right? Because Shueisha has been holding the Dragon Ball series back. They really have. He stated, I think he wanted Shueisha to they could still handle the manga stuff while he focused on literally everything else, okay? Movies, anime, games, etc., right? So now it has been stated that he is officially the president of Capsule Corporation Tokyo and the executive producer of Dragon Ball, okay? He reveals that he'll continue to produce more anime series. That's big. More movies. That's big. And more games. That's big, okay? That all this is really important, right? And he's saying he wants to do this for over the next 10 years, okay? And it could obviously always be longer than that. He just, he's an older guy, so eventually maybe he'll step down, or I don't know, we'll see. Okay, that's 10 years from now, okay? So for 10 years, his plan right now is to produce a lot of Dragon Ball content, anime, movies, games, and stuff, okay? Which, you're seeing it already coming into full fruition. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, new Dragon Ball game coming, maybe this year / next year. Dragon Ball Daima, officially confirmed this year. We could be seeing a new movie get announced, sometime. I don't know, okay? For maybe next year or the year after. Movies are... a new movie could come, okay? That's not completely out of the question, right? So let's go over this interview, okay? That's the general big information right here, but the interview itself is huge. So you don't have to watch this entire part. I advise you to watch this part just because I'm going to read through it. We're going to discuss our thoughts and opinions about it and go over kind of the stuff that was really significant that people were pointing out that Super Chronicles did kind of expand on and kind of clarify, because there's the way that this is translated and stuff, it can get kind of confusing, and like I said, it's a lot of information to digest, right? So like I said, you can skip through this video. Maybe I'll do like a recap of everything. I'm going to go over my thoughts and opinions on it because like I said, this is very important stuff. I'm very interested in to see what he has to say about what the future of Dragon Ball might hold now that he's established this, his own company where he's officially going to, they basically compromised. Okay, they compromised. Now he can focus on bringing us more content instead of having these massive droughts of no anime, no movies for several years, right? 2 to 3 years without a movie, sometimes even 4 years without a movie. Okay, that's a long ass time for the fans to wait to see anything other than what we've been getting, which are just video game content, which I love. That Dragon Ball is such a popular series at this point that it can survive on just very, very small, minimal content, okay? From the games or whatever. But obviously, we want an anime, right? Right? Do you guys want an anime? Do you guys want more movies? I'm pretty sure you do, right? Because we haven't had anything since Dragon Ball Super ended, right? We just had movies, like little, movies in between. But that's not enough for the fans to really stay invested. So he states right here, I think it's Nikkei. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Sorry. Published an article on January 5th. So this was literally yesterday. Okay. Interviewing Akio Iyoku, the president of the Capsule Corporation Tokyo and executive producer of the Dragon Ball series. Thanks to Sailor Jupiter for sending the article. So shout outs to them. Give all these dudes a follow, like Hype, Chronicles, and Jupiter here. So this article, okay, states, Indomitable Dragon Ball inheriting the mission, a global strategy to reach the next generation. Okay, featuring Akio Iyoku. Dragon Ball will celebrate its 40th anniversary, which we're aware of, this year. Okay, so big year for Dragon Ball. Talked about it several times in the past. This is our year, right? Dragon Ball is unique and amazing work. Rather than thinking of the work in relative or uniform terms, the keynote is to think about how it should be done as a work of art. Absolutely, okay? As the executive producer of a work with unprecedented longevity, my mission is to expand and convey what the original creator, Akira Toriyama, has created. Excellent, okay? I will continue to produce works such as anime series, movies, and games over the next 10 years. Adopting what is popular at the moment does not increase the probability of success. That is absolutely true. If you're going through and, you're creating content and it's, a new series for an existing series, like, for example, okay, Dragon Ball Daima, that has had a lot of mixed opinions, okay? That's not something that is really, in terms of what he means, like something popular at that moment. That's not something that a lot of people were asking for. I know for the fact, you can see the top comment on there. People, one dude said, I think on the trailer, he was like, we want more Dragon Ball content, okay, as like a joke, like saying like, oh yeah, the fans want more Dragon Ball content. And then Toei drops Dragon Ball Daima, and then he put Dragon Ball GT Part 2 or some bullshit. Okay, so again, a lot of ignorance with that. It's not GT remake. It's not another GT. That's not what it is. Okay, you guys do not know, and we do not. Like, I don't know. Nobody knows where this series, what direction it's going to go in. Okay, you got a 1-minute trailer, and that is not enough to completely judge it. Again, like I said in previous videos, you can absolutely have an opinion and say, this does not look interesting to me so far, but don't judge it fully. Give it a chance. Once more info comes out and you see more from it, watch it. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, watch it, and then, you can fully, digest everything and give yourself or give people your final opinion. Is it ass or is it good? Okay, we can't say any of that right now, right? So he said, I will not be swayed by the current trends, but I will create works that I feel will be good enough. Okay, so what he's trying to say is that he's not, which is kind of weird from what I'm seeing, because it's like he's obviously and it's not trends necessarily right now, because Dragon Ball trends and Dragon Ball things are gonna always change, right? But he definitely has the sense of what the fans are looking for in terms of content and stuff and series and stuff. But I feel like maybe when he's saying this, okay, and obviously this is just talk right now. This is just him talking in an interview. We have no idea if he'll actually go through with it. But what I'm getting from this is that maybe he saw that there were, the opinions of fans and everything online, and just like overall, just the general consensus that there are some people that, they don't want to see the fans, too much fan service. Okay, I know it was very hard for me to get to saying that. I don't know why. I was trying to think of the correct term. Yeah, a lot of fans, of the series, they want to see Dragon Ball, they want to see good Dragon Ball content. Okay, and the constant reliance on nostalgia and bringing back, the same stuff over and over again. Like we've talked about this several times. Okay, there are fans who are very tired of, okay, let's bring back Broly. Let's bring back Gohan. Okay, Gohan Beast is just Super Saiyan 2 Part 2. You understand what I mean? Even though it's not, but I'm just saying, like, it's obvious that he's trying to play on the nostalgia, bring in the fan service and stuff, which for me personally, like, I like that stuff. It's hype, it's cool. I definitely don't want them to constantly rely on that. Every now and then, it's nice to have that. It's cool, but I feel like the most recent Dragon Ball content has heavily focused on that, okay? It has just been constant. Like I said, bring back Frieza, okay, for the Resurrection F. Bring back Broly for, the Broly movie. Bring back Trunks, okay, like a lot. It's too much fan service, a lot, too much of it, okay. There's obviously a breaking point where it's like, all right, come on, can we get some new content? And in the manga right now, Moro, that was fresh, that was new, Granola, fresh and new, these new characters, they have different abilities and stuff, and, the story is obviously interesting because it's like you don't know what really is going to happen. But moving on here, he says this is the section where it says when the craze had died down. Now, this is where a lot of people had a lot of opinions, okay? I might not read the whole thing, but I'll kind of... Actually, I think it's this part right here, whenever he's saying it's over-competitive, which that's the end of it, okay? It's not the longest thing ever, but like I said, we're just going over the basic stuff, okay? So what he was talking about, I think, in this, okay, is that he said there was a time when when the Dragon Ball craze, which had spread around the world over the past 40 years, had died down. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, when Dragon Ball ended and GT was done, okay, there was nothing. We had nothing, okay? We were getting video games, and that was it. So there wasn't a lot of, popularity for it as much anymore, okay? And I'm talking about whenever the anime had already been kind of, pushed to the West, and it had already ended and everything. So obviously there was nothing new other than just the games, which obviously is just adapting stuff from the manga/anime, right? That's all we had. And then Dragon Ball Heroes came, I think, in like 2010. And that was like the only fresh content that we were getting for like 5 years, like 4 or 5 years or whatever. And I mean, it was just all fan service. It wasn't like fully fleshed out story, right? That we were watching, weekly or even seasonally. Okay, it was just like little 1-minute trailers, and that was it, right? So he said he went to a huge event in Brazil called CCXP, and he was told that the Japanese anime was very popular in South America, which is absolute fact, okay? Hispanic countries, South America, and everything, that they go hard on Dragon Ball. I would say that Dragon Ball, across the entire world, that community, that fan community has shown to be some of the most dedicated fans, okay? If you're making a whole, like renting out a whole, like, stadium or whatever they did for the final, episode of Dragon Ball Super, or just Jiren versus Goku or whatever, and you're making it like it's like a boxing event, like this massive event, okay, which no other country was doing at the time, right? They were like the first like countries that were like, oh, let's make this like the biggest event for us, okay? That just shows how dedicated and how much they love Dragon Ball, okay? He states right here that after he went to that and, it was real popular in South America, there was a discrepancy from what I was told. The feedback from fans was weak. So he's saying that he was told that in South America it's very popular, but the feedback from the fans wasn't showing that, okay? It may have been at the peak of its popularity when it was on air in South America, okay? I mean, obviously, this is, obvious shit, right? I also thought it was the result of relying on old-fashioned zeal, okay? Therefore, starting with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie in 2018, we took steps as actively participating in events, okay? So he's saying, like, more worldwide, across the world, people didn't really know where the Dragon Ball content was, okay? Even if there was new content being pushed out or whatever, nobody really knew because, only like... Shueisha and everything, they were always kind of, in a sense, like gatekeeping it to Japan, and then like we would only see it maybe in like the UK or like the US later on, but there was no like events that were like people could all gather together and be like, hey, this is where I can find out about what's next for Dragon Ball. And that's why they were actively going through and trying to push it to Comic-Con and stuff. And that's what is all because of him. Ioku, it's all because of him that they were finally doing that, where we finally see at Comic-Con, oh, Dragon Ball Super Broly movie gets revealed, Dragon Ball Super Hero gets revealed, Dragon Ball Daima gets revealed. All three of those big series and movies or whatever got a reveal at the Comic-Con, at some Comic-Con in, America, which is the best place to do it, honestly, because, that's where all the nerd culture and everything is. The anime fans, they're flocking towards that, right? And now we have Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, okay, which is a huge event, again, in America, because America's a good central place to reveal a lot of stuff. It's just a fact, right? Where do you see a lot of like Disney's reveals for like Star Wars or Marvel or any LL? It's all in America usually, right? So moving on here, he says we are looking for events such as the Dragon Ball World Championships, that expansion of games, creating facilities, and anything else that we can do. We will work on them in parallel. Okay, so trying to go to every event, focus on revealing the biggest projects that they're working on, right? Never before was there a simultaneous worldwide reception of anime. See, that's what he's saying, okay? When he's talking about Comic-Con and all these other things worldwide, we've never seen so many people across the entire world be able to all view at one time and be like, and talk about it, right? And be excited for it. It can be said that we are now able to do these things that we had not even considered before, which is hilarious, okay? It's so sad that, Shueisha was just holding them back, right? And when it came to Dragon Ball, they were like, wow, it's actually very popular across the entire world. Like they legitimately didn't understand that, which, like I said, that's sad. And it's sad that it took this long for them to realize it, but I'm glad that now it's finally, being pushed and coming into fruition, right? So from the beginning, I began to think about the overseas expansion of Dragon Ball. So with Dragon Ball Daima, which will be released this year in fall, we are taking on the challenge of creating an anime series with a completely original story. I am glad that all our works have been well received overseas, which is absolutely true. As much as some of y'all hate the idea of Daima, you're not interested in it. It's a fact that it's got basically 7 million views on the trailer. Okay, it's got more likes than anything. Okay, I'm sure there are a lot of dislikes, obviously. The reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Okay, people are excited for this, right? So, Daima was announced at Comic-Con, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Comic-Con is a great place to announce your work. Okay, especially when it comes to anime, series like Dragon Ball and stuff, okay? People who understand the value of the culture are gathered there to begin with, and we chose Comic-Con because of its ability to spread our work throughout the world. See, now they know. Okay, they know. They tried it out with Dragon Ball Super Broly. I think that was the first time like they had like a major Comic-Con, panel, press conference type of deal or whatever, where they revealed everything live. They dropped the trailer. People were excited for it. And they saw how the reception, the views and everything, they saw how high it was and they were like, shit, we should do this more often, right? Okay, like it's amazing, right? Overseas expansion is currently being considered as a necessary means of spreading the word about our work, okay? And that's what we need, okay? Even though Dragon Ball is already known around the world, they want to keep expanding it to places where maybe some people can't really get to Dragon Ball, okay? Like, there are places in, for example, South America, maybe even like India, there are some places that they don't get some, they're not getting Dragon Ball content. They're not getting their localized, dubs of it and stuff for those regions, okay? And obviously there are like fan dubs and they're all, I'm just saying like official, full-on, simulcast, all that stuff, right? Mainly in America/UK, English-speaking countries, okay, have been getting that. Okay, it's just Japan and, English-speaking countries that have gotten the meat of Dragon Ball, right? I know that sounds bad, but you know what I mean. So if we compare the flow of manga titles selling in book format and then finally becoming an anime to a river. The overseas developments were the ones that followed the river, meaning that in the past it was a fan in the sense that the overseas expansion followed later. Okay, I am convinced that Dragon Ball has pioneered many things as a Japanese anime. Absolutely true. I have a sense of mission that if there is something that no one else has done, I must continue to challenge it. Okay, so I like that. I very much like that. That gives me some hope that obviously he's trying to go for innovation, right? With Dragon Ball. Okay, trying to do things different, which can be good and bad, obviously, but for the most part, since we've been getting a lot of the same stuff for Dragon Ball, for the not all the time, but I'm saying like more recent stuff has been kind of all like again, like I said at the beginning, playing on nostalgia and all that stuff. Seeing innovation, things that are different is nice, right? So okay, like I said, this was the part that people kind of had an issue with, and I don't want to read the whole thing. Okay, you can kind of read through it yourself. We'll read the whole thing, whatever. So the industry is over-competitive. It is tough to see the competition among anime due to the emergence of streaming sites, etc. Competition has become excessive. We must not create a situation where a manga becomes anime, and when the anime is over, the content ends as is, okay? So this is where people got, or at least one person got kind of upset about or didn't like, okay? So what he's trying to say here is this does not mean that the manga is not going to become, adapted. Like, for example, the Dragon Ball Super manga, Moral Arc, and he's not saying that. I think there were some people that were misinterpreting it, okay? Like this person right here. It's so over, I really love the Moral Arc. So they're interpreting it as, this part right here, is that the anime, whatever he's working on, anime content is going to be exclusive to original content, and we're never going to see Dragon Ball Super, Moral Arc, or Granola Arc, or any of that get adapted, okay? And that's not true. That's not what he's saying, okay? He says, and when the anime is over, the content ends as is. He's talking about how, in general, when a manga is producing content, okay, whoever's writing the manga, okay, it gets adapted into an anime, and usually it ends up catching up to the anime, and then it finishes, right? After the manga ends and then the anime finishes, obviously it's gonna eventually end. Okay, it doesn't last forever. So he's saying the ideal situation is to create a situation where the average viewer sees the content. Okay, so we're in a cycle of consumption, and in some aspects, the cycle is becoming short-lived. I don't think it's good at all to have a boom that builds up and then burns down, which can be a factor in the content not lasting long. It will be tough if we do not create a place to compete differently from anime as content, okay? So he's saying, in general, like I said, most anime content, okay, for One Piece right now is kind of the exception, but like, for example, like Naruto, like Boruto, there's no content for Boruto right now, like no anime. We got the Blue Vortex series going on right now, but it's because like they want it to not catch, they don't want to catch up right now. They're already pretty much caught up. They want the manga to kind of have a little bit of time to breathe and flesh out its story and everything before they return and come back with it, okay? I think, for example, was it Black Clover is another series where it kind of like was getting caught up, and they were like, all right, we got to, let them produce more content before, we catch up completely, and bro is still writing the manga, so he can't, there's nothing being made. Now, Dragon Ball is kind of that exception right now because they can produce these spin-offs like Dragon Ball Daima to fill the gap in between waiting for the the manga to, again, make enough content and stories so that they're at a good point where they feel comfortable that the anime won't catch up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm seeing this as, okay? He wants there to be enough manga content out there so that they can still do spin-offs in between, okay? So this, I'm not seeing it as that, okay? And I doubt that's what he means. Obviously, he wants the best for the series, so he's not going to just be like, all right, we're never going to adapt manga shit, right? I don't think that's the case, okay? So let's go ahead and finish the rest of this. I know this video is like over 20 minutes. I do apologize, but I wanted to get my full thoughts and opinions about everything out here so that we can kind of understand what's going on, right? So it is advisable for works that are popular now to be distributed simultaneously around the world to repeat generations and reach the next stage of popularity, okay? So yeah, absolutely. That's what we want for a series that we love, right? We want everybody to be able to experience it, okay? In order to bring in an overseas strength, a leading role is needed, okay? So I think just right here, he's talking about the role. That role is what he's trying... Akio Yoku, that's what he's trying to fill, okay? For Japanese content to continue, it is necessary to have someone who can say the status quo is not good enough, okay? So let's push forward. Let's make, let's make this the best we possibly can, okay? So again, to reiterate here, Super Chronicles this is just his thoughts and opinions about it and how he's interpreting it. But he's saying, judging his words, he's more inclined to the anime shouldn't be on break for so long that an average viewer forgets about it, okay? So that's a good way of putting everything, okay? It's like I said, it has been shown in the past that, I mean, at least for when Dragon Ball Super ended, all we had was the Broly movie and the superhero movie. That's all we've had for big, new, fresh anime content, anime-related content, okay? And you have all this massive gap in between where it's dry as fuck and it's awful. It really is, right? Like, I think y'all can agree with me that it's kind of frustrating as a fan of this. We love Dragon Ball so much, okay? And getting nothing, no information, no anime, nothing, it's painful. It really hurts, right? Like, I can wait. I don't mind waiting as long as the content is good, okay? But, like, they gotta, keep us invested in it, because it's absolutely true. He's acknowledging what exactly the fans have felt, okay? You have this hype. Dragon Ball Super was at its peak. Jiren versus Goku. It ended. The Broly movie kind of kept it going because it was still in the same year. It released that same year that TBS ended. And then after that, it was rest in peace. People were like, Dragon Ball's dead, blah, 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 it's dying, blah, 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 or whatever, even though it was still, the games were still like, carrying the series, and it's still carrying the series right now. So Dragon Ball is still very popular, but, you have all these other anime that have come forth and pretty much overshadowed it, okay? Like, what is the most popular, like, what anime that I'm seeing people are talking about all the time? Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, okay? Chainsaw Man, obviously not now, but like, during that time. Like, those series are killing it right now, okay? And Dragon Ball, had nothing, and it was sad. So he wants content, specifically animated content, to keep coming. Otherwise, people will forget about it. And again, that can be good and bad, okay? There is always that possibility of a burnout, but we can't judge anything just yet until we see what's being, what's being pushed out, right? And so far, Dragon Ball Daima, even though it is, a split, it's split among the fans. I think it could be very good. Okay, we'll see. So far, I'm excited for it. Okay, it's Dragon Ball content. Okay, I cannot not be excited, right? But we'll see. There's always a possibility it's gonna be ass, but we'll judge it when it comes out. Okay, but for now, so far, this to me is good news. Okay, I'm not seeing Shueisha holding Dragon Ball back now. Now that we got this official confirmation that Akio Yoku he did what he was wanting to do so that he can push more Dragon Ball content. This could potentially, okay, I'm seeing it as a good thing, and I hope it's a good thing. We'll see though. We will see though. I'm not gonna say, guys, get excited. This is it. We're gonna get all the best shit ever. No, he could pump out some garbage. Who knows? He could definitely, absolutely, easily pump out some trash, and we'll be like, fuck, man, this is awful. But again, we'll have to see. This is just a news article. We just finally know that Dragon Ball is getting pushed forward. And so far, Sparking Zero looks fire. Dragon Ball Daima looks fire. It's looking good for this year. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about this. Sorry for the video being super long. You did not have to watch the whole thing. You can skip through it. But if you just like hearing me talk about this shit, I love talking about it. Okay? And I do apologize if there was anything that I misinterpreted in this. Okay? Again, it's a lot of information to process and digest, but until then, I'll keep you guys updated on any Dragon Ball news. I love Dragon Ball so much, man. I'm very excited, looking forward towards the series. I'm hoping for the best. I love y'all. Peace out.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.